passage of mobile phones, right? We try to see some parts of mobile phones and do answer questions from the listening text. That was our last week's activity. Today we're going to see about another way of writing a paragraph. So far we have seen 3 types of writing a paragraph. Do you remember them? I'm sure you do. They are expository paragraph, right? Good. And the other one, narrative paragraph. The other one, descriptive. And today we're going to see what? Argumentative. Okay? Argumentative paragraph is going to be our last lesson of this year. Are you ready? Good. After this lesson, I will show you how to use or some techniques of writing argumentative paragraph in a very simple way so you can write argumentative paragraph by yourself. Okay? Let's go. Argumentative paragraph. Argument means what? Argument means to pursue. To pursue someone, to push someone, to put some pressure on someone to convince. Yeah? To convince, to convince. To convince. All right? To pursue or to convince someone. So when we say argumentative paragraph, that means your paragraph is going to have a pressure or it's going to have some evidences, facts that can make your reader or your listener to believe you. All right? This is what we call argumentative paragraph. So when we talk about argumentative paragraph, there are some points that we need to have. In our paragraph, listen, in our paragraph, we need to have these parts. The first one, just like the other paragraphs, argumentative paragraph, it has what? In the paragraph, you have introduction part, or something which can have the topic, all right? So within the topic, you will give what? You will give explanation, or if it is about ECAU, we might say body paragraphs, but we are talking about a single paragraph. So in your single paragraph, you will have a topic and then explanation, which come up with opinions that we are going to build out. And the third one, conclusion. These are the common parts of a paragraph that we have seen so far. But when we come about this argumentative paragraph, it's better to include what? Examples. All right? Since what do we say about argumentative? To argue means to pursue someone or try to convince, to make you someone to support your idea. All right? To make someone to support what? Your idea. So you have to mention what? Examples. Or you can also mention speech of people. Speeches of scholars. It can be scholars or famous people. Or you can say the what elderly ones have said, elder people. Just to make your reader believe you, to come to you, to support you, you have to add these things. Either you need to have example or you have to quote. You have to quote some scholars, famous ones, celebrities, those people who are appreciated or loved by your society. All right? And these are the common behaviors that we see in argumentative paragraph. Have you ever heard any argumentative paragraph so far? Let me read you one short argumentative paragraph, okay? Okay, look at this paragraph. I think students should read every day because reading helps them learn new words and understand the word later. New words and spelling or word letter and spelling. Learn new words. Let's make it like this. Learn and understand new words and spelling. For example, I read for 20 minutes. I read for 20 minutes daily. And now I can speak English I can speak English. I can speak English more easily. I can also write different paragraphs, different types of paragraphs. So I believe daily reading is good for every student. Daily reading is good for every student. Okay, look at this paragraph. How does it start? It starts by saying what? I think, because that is personal opinion, all right? I think students should read every day because reading helps them learn and understand new words and spelling. For example, I read for 20 minutes daily, and now I can speak English more easily. I can also write different types of paragraphs. So I believe daily reading is good for every student. This is a simple example of argumentative paragraph. Let us see if we have the components that I told you earlier. Okay, let us see the first sentence. It says what? I think students should read every day. Do you get the topic of the paragraph from this sentence? Yes, we do. Because it's talking about what? It's talking about reading every day. All right? It is the opinion of the writer about reading every day. So, we have what? We have a topic here. Look. We have a topic. Topic, which is what? Reading every day. Reading every day. Okay. So let's go. What do we find there? Because now the person is trying to give us what? More explanation why he believes that reading is good. So we have what? Explanation. Explanation is here. Here is our explanation. He says what? Because reading helps them learn and understand. Now, in the explanation, he tries to mention some benefits that a person can get from reading. That is what? Learn and understand. Look at this. The explanation is what? Learn, yeah, and understand. Learn and understand. Understand what? New words and their spellings, yeah? New words and spelling. Good. So this is one benefit or one explanation for the person's view or for the person's understanding or belief about reading. All right? Let's go. What do we have next? Look. For example, you see? What do I tell you when we talk about argumentative paragraph? In order to convince our reader or listener, we need to have what? Either examples or scholar views under quotation. You can say, for example, you can say, Einstein said this and that. Einstein has got what? A good attitude and acceptance from the people, right? So, just like that, you need to have either example or quotes or speech of scholars, celebrities, accepted people. All right? So, in this short paragraph, we are having what? Example. For example, look, I read 20 minutes daily. See? 20 minutes daily. And now I can speak. The person is now what? Trying to convince us by showing himself and, yes, the benefits that you get by reading 20 minutes a day. What are they? Look, I can write different types of paragraphs. Before that, I can speak English more easily. So, we are having what? Example. Yeah? Example. Example. Under the example, he is telling us what? Speaking easily. Yeah? Speak English. Speak English easily. Yes? Not only that. Write different types of paragraphs. Different types of paragraphs. You see? These are the explanations that a person gave us by saying what? For example. And then let us see the last sentence. So, what are we trying to do when we say so? Yes, he is trying to finalize, which means coming to conclusion. Wonderful. So, I believe daily reading is good for every student. By saying this, we have come what? We have come to our initial point. You see, he is giving more examples, explanations, and he conclude his last lesson. You see, this is how we call argumentative paragraph. Now it's your turn to write an argumentative paragraph. So let me show you a simple technique, all right? Simple, very simple technique of writing argumentative paragraph. My today's technique is, look, we said it is what? Argumentative. Argumentative paragraph, okay? Okay. Let me ask you one question. What do we call this word? What is it called? What is it saying? It says Oreo. Have you ever eaten a biscuit named Oreo? Yes, you do. Yeah, it's very common, yeah? We can find it simply in every shops. Oreo, Oreo biscuits, Oreo cookies. They are very delicious, yes? Good. And this technique of writing argumentative paragraph is delicious like the Oreo biscuit. But what do we mean when we say Oreo? Let me show you. Oreo. Let's begin with O. Let's make it here. Let's make it here because we're going to see some example. Oreo. O. O means opinion. You're going to give your own opinion. You're going to say, I think, I believe. We have seen how to give opinions, yeah? I strongly believe. It's true that, something like that. Then the next one says what? R, which means what? R stands for a reason. When you say, I believe or I think, why do you believe? Or why do you think that? That's what we call a reason. And the other one is what? E. E means what? Example. Good. Example. Or we can take E as an what? More illustration, or we can take like explanation. Under your explanation, don't forget, you can add what? Scholarly views. And let's go. The last one. It says O, which means opinion again. Opinion, which means as a conclusion. As a conclusion. Okay? This is the simplest technique of writing argumentative paragraph. Now let's write together. Let's use one simple topic using cell phones or mobile phones at school. Okay? This is going to be our today's topic, yeah? Mobile phones. Mobile phones at school. Yeah? On our last program, if you remember, we said that mobile phones are what? Distractors. They are not advised to be used by students at school unless the teacher recommends. So, let us use this part. Under O. That's our opinion. Yeah? What do we say? I believe mobile phones should be restricted at school. Here we go. We have come what? We have come with the first Oreo. Then let us give a reason. Why? Why do I believe that they should be restricted? Good. Because they distract they distract students from learning. Okay, now we give our what? Our explanation. What do we say? Because they distract students from learning. All right. You can give more explanations here, by the way, more reasons here. All right? Yeah, you can say, or you can tell what feelings they create among the classroom. Maybe when it rings loud, yes, or students' attention might go to the mobile phone instead of the teacher. You can say a lot of things here, not only a single sentence, all right? Go. Let's go to E. Example. Let us give simple example here. For example, if there is a single phone at a school or in a classroom, students do not give attention to the teacher or the lesson. Let's make it more strong, all right? Let's make it more strong. Some want to play games, some want, yeah, to play games. Some might want to watch videos and other activities. Let's go. So far from our Oreo, we have done the O, R, E. Let's go to the last O. Okay, which means you are going to what? To restate our opinion as in a conclusion. Okay, so now we're going to conclude. We have come with our belief. We're explaining the reason and give some examples that could be happened in our classroom. And let us reorganize or conclude our topic here. All right? What do we say? So, or you can say, yeah, so I believe having mobile phones should not be allowed for a better learning environment. Here we go. This is how we simply write argumentative paragraph using this Oreo. You see? Opinion, reason, example, and more explanation. And then finally what? Opinion. Let's cancel this. Here we go. This is the paragraph. It is what? A paragraph. Let's read our paragraph again. I believe mobile phones should be restricted at school because they distract students from learning. For example, if there is a single phone in a classroom, all right, students do not give attention to the teacher or the lesson. Some want to play games, some might want to watch videos and other activities. So, I believe having mobile phones should not be allowed for a better learning environment. Isn't that a wonderful argumentative paragraph? Which is written very simply, right? Very simply, without thinking what to do, how to write, and bothering yourself or looking for different words. No, you don't need that. Just use this one, all right? Use the Oreo cookie, yeah? And then write a delicious argumentative paragraph. See? So can you do that by yourself? Let me give you an activity. Class activity. Okay. Support this topic and write, wear a uniform. Wearing a uniform. Okay. Wearing a uniform. You all have uniforms, yeah? In Addis Ababa, thanks to the city government, everybody is having what? The same uniforms in elementary, even the lower classes, the junior classes in elementary and high schools, right? So, how do you think is it important to wear a uniform? Convince me. I don't believe that students should wear a uniform. So, use your Oreo, which means support it. Support wearing a uniform and give your opinion, okay? And then you give what? A reason and example, finally, opinion. Use this step with the topic and write a short paragraph, which is argumentative. I will give you 5 minutes for this. So, I'm sure you have done a better paragraph, which you believe that you can do before. Let's see. Let us give our opinion. We said what? We support it. So, what do we say? We can say, you don't necessarily have to say, I think or I believe. You can say what? Wearing a uniform is very important. You can use a different way of writing, okay? Don't worry about that. You don't have to be exactly the same with me, okay? Wearing a uniform is very important. Now, let us give our reason for that. All right. Then, the reason. Because uniform make us all equal. Uniform make us all what? Equal. Everybody is equal. All right? Then how do we show our examples to convince here? Yeah? Example. Let's give example. Since we all have the same clothes, okay? Nobody or no one worries, yeah, about his or her dressing. No worries on what to wear for school, etc. All right, let's come to our conclusion, which means let's give our opinion again. All right? What was our first opinion? It is what? Wearing a uniform is very important. So we have to come up with this because that is the sentence that we are giving more explanation about. So we don't have to change our first opinion on the last one. All right? So how do we say? So that's why wearing a uniform is important. What example do we give? Since we all have the same clothes, nobody worries about his or her dressing. No worries on what to wear for school. We all concentrate. Let's make it like this. We all concentrate on our learning. You see? You can use your own words, your own way of explanation. Just make sure that you follow this step, okay? So the first one, wearing a uniform. Let's remove this now. So let's go. Look, wearing a uniform is very important because uniform make us all equal. Since we all have the same clothes, nobody worries about his or her dresses. No worries on what to wear for school. We all concentrate on our learning. So that's why wearing a uniform is important. This is a good example of argumentative paragraph, which we can construct with 3 or 4 minutes, right? So that's all about argumentative paragraph. Let me give you some activities that you practice after this lesson, okay? All right. Choose 2 from the given 3 and write an argumentative paragraph. All right. Let me give you simple argumentative topics, then you can make your own argumentative paragraph, all right? Playing video games. How do you argue? Do you think they are good? Show your explanation and give the reason, example, and finally, restate your opinion. All right, this is one. Another one, what? Okay, the school feeding program. And the second one, school feeding programs. You have a school feeding program. So how do you convince your readers that this thing is important in your school? Support and write, okay? And another one, the riverside development. Riverside development. Now these days our rivers are getting clean, so how do you convince its importance for your readers or listeners? You can choose 2 from these 3 titles or topics, and you can use what? Don't forget to use this one. And write simply an argumentative paragraph in this technique, okay? So that's all what I have for today. Actually, that's all what I have for the year. I enjoyed teaching you on television. I really had a great time. I'm sure you find it very important for your lesson. I wish you all the best for your exams. I'll see you next year on a different grade level. Until then, have a good one. Work hard.